All right, welcome back, folks. Rudy, Alpha Investments. Today, we got two more collections that we're dealing with here at the store, and we got a magic one, and of course, everyone's favorite. Before I even show you what's under this piece of paper, please thumbs down the video. Remember, that is the 2021 way because they're flesh and blood. You have to thumbs down because it's a shill, right? It's all a bubble. Ooh, that's neat. Look at the reflection. So I want to go over. I continue to absorb cold foil collections that are coming in now. I'm getting one every couple days now. It's coming through to the store. As far as some magic stuff, really weird things here I want to go over. I'm in the process of dealing with this collection. We're waiting on two more tracking numbers of some sealed product, but I wanted to go ahead and talk to about some of these cards and everything. It's we got some common uncommons, legends, beautiful darks, and of course, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, so we're gonna have some fun. Actually, I think we might even break that open. All right, so. First things first, let's read the letter here. This will give everybody a good point to make fun of me. Rudy, here are 4 cold foils. This is flesh and blood. I know. That I opened at some point during 2019. I bought 2 boxes of Wraith, 2 boxes of Arc, and when you first began showcasing it, never knew what they were. I didn't know they were first prints. It was a super nice surprise to find out that it's become more popular as of late, and also very scary how high the cards are skyrocketing. Thanks for offering to take some of the risk in the likely inflated prices. You're welcome, Jason. Okay. Man, the pessimism is beautiful. It's flippin' beautiful. Although, if people start to change that tone, that's going to make me more nervous than anything. So I have a couple, 3 commons right here that are cold foil. And then, of course, we have the pretty monster card here. This is a Mask of Momentum cold foil from WTR Alpha series. This is one of the legendaries that are in this particular product. Look at that. Look at that shine. Whew. I'm not going to go into the details of the card, but it's a very stunning card. It's my very first copy I've owned. So very, very excited to own that copy. And I just want to share. That's my first pickup on that. Now, these 3 are commons. I'm actually still quite a big fan of these common cold foils. I know they're not expensive. I like the art style. I like the feel of them. I just like all the different gear. Like I said, I'm a sucker for the gear stuff. I'm looking through it now. Again, this one in particular is really bad condition. But I'm not really going to bust the guy's balls or anything. And because if you look at the back of this thing, was this the one? One of them is actually damaged or has scratches and dings all over it. It was one of these. Hold on. Maybe not. I could be getting it wrong. I apologize. I remember seeing, I thought one of these. Maybe it was the case, actually. It might have been actually the case. It may have not actually been the card itself. Nope, I think it was actually the plastic case it came in. Never mind. But yeah, so we got 3 beautiful common cold foils there. I think the common cold foils, no, they're not worth a lot of money. No, I don't think they're going to be worth a lot. The utility of the cards, they're just not very good cards in the future. But, you know, it is something I continue to kind of look at. So that's it for the flesh and blood there. Just want to share I'm still buying those. If you have flesh and blood cold foils, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com. Throw me a picture. Tell me, Rudy, it's a bubble. Buy my cards before the price drops. And send me a message. And we will discuss doing that. And I will work with you. All right. So I want to share what I'm in the process of dealing with on this little collection here. I'm still waiting for some more. So this is a non-finalized deal. But I wanted to go over a few interesting things with you all. So this is the rest of the video. I'll let you guys look at this as I yip yap in the background. Don't you guys love this old 2017 Vegas thing? Boy, those were the days, weren't they, folks, before the world got crazy? All right, so first let me go over what we see here. So this gentleman is, I think he's doing some bills. He's restructuring. I don't know if it's house stuff, what he's doing. We'll read his story and letter when the rest of the product shows up. And I wanted to go ahead and talk about this right here. So what we have in this video is you can see we got some Legends cards. This whole bottom row here is Legends. Actually, we'll go ahead and how about this? We'll kind of put all the Legends cards together. So this whole bottom row is Legends, and then, of course, the North Star. We have one little Arabian, and then, of course, we got 2 Beta Rares Dark Packs. I love the art. I know it's not really... I just like the card. We have a Force of Will graded by a useless third-party company that, unfortunately, KSA has no credibility in the marketplace. I've never heard of it. I'll look it up. I don't know. I don't even... Is this case... I think I can open that case, actually. I think I can actually break that open with my hand. We have a Beta, Wild Growth, and of course an Alpha, the only Alpha card here, which is the only PSA card also, which is a Scavenging. So overall, The reason why I still am attracted to things like this is, first of all, if the card grade is below a 9, like cards that are graded 8, 8.5s, well, 6.5, that's really shouldn't even be great. I'm probably going to just break this out of the slab. There's no point in having literally a played wild growth in a, sorry, I rolled the dust all over it. There's no point in having that. And of course, you got to be careful, folks, just to remind you all, they put these words like, it's graded 6.5, it's excellent to mint. Please be careful, folks. Just because it has the word mint or anything like that, the card is played. It is what it is. Be very careful with the wording attached to those kind of things. I just want to lay that out there. So the grading on that particular card has no value. I'm just buying the card itself. Same thing with Force of Will here. I got to research this. I don't know what's going on with this brand or cheap. It's very strange. I don't know. I'll probably break it out and just keep it, add to my Force of Will collection. Now, cards that are graded above an 8.5, like a 9, obviously 9.5 or crazy stuff like that, I do put a value on the premium, especially no matter what the subgrades are for Beckett. And of course, any PSA 9 or above truly does. It gets a premium because it truly is a very clean, nice card. So cards that are like 8.5, I look at these type of cards as no different than a regular, just raw, near mint to mint card. It's an unplayed. It'd be priced at like a buy list that would be like, near mint to mint range. There's no premium until you get to like the 9s and above. Then you match the price, then you add an extra 10, 20, 50% depending on what the card is. Obviously 9.5, now you're getting into cards that are obviously, cards that come out at usually 9 to 8.5, those are still packed fresh cards usually. Now cards same thing with the 9. Just because it comes out of a pack and it's packed fresh doesn't mean you're going to get a 9.5 or a PSA 10. That's the biggest fallacy in the Magic collectible world. Everyone thinks, oh, I'm just going to buy sealed packs, open them, and just get all 10s. Yeah, I did that in the past. I opened sealed Alpha starter decks. I paid $900 a starter deck. I did about 10, 15 of them. That's how I got a lot of my 10s back in the days that I didn't buy already graded. And I sent all 60 cards in the Alpha starter deck off for grading. And out of the 60 cards, about 10 to 15% of the cards would come back PSA 10s. So out of every 60 card batch I would send to PSA, I would usually get probably around 10 PSA 10s out of 60. And the rest would be between 8 and 9s. Seriously. And they were all packed fresh out of a sealed starter deck. It is what it is. So anyways, that's as far as the grading goes. Now I kind of want to take a few minutes and I want to kind of comment on what's going on in the marketplace and how insane it is right now. It's just, we're in a very weird time. So I'm going to give you my perspective and we'll kind of run through each one and we'll call it a day, folks. All right, so let's start with over here. So starting on the left here, we have, of course, North Star. A card like this, it's reserve list. It's always one of those bizarre artifact cards from a long time ago. It's never going to be a heavy-hitting, iconic piece of Magic history. But at the same time, people are like, well, Rudy, what about the grade? What are we looking at here? We are looking at can I even zoom in on that? I may not even be able to zoom in on that because of the reflection. Sorry, folks. I don't think we're going to be able to zoom in at all on that. Anyways, cards like this, I like to just have positions in. I look at these as almost like diversifying in different shares of an equity or some sort of other collectible position because the cards are going to continue to appreciate as the years tick by due to lack of supply and due to the unique nature. Now, you may every once in a while run into some sort of hyperbolic, parabolic skyrocketing on a particular card price, whether it's manipulated or some new combo or a Wizards or new release card. I don't really care about stuff like that. Those are variables you can't control. So North Star falls in that category. Same thing with Life Matrix. Now, of course, Life Matrix being graded actually a 9.5, that's actually a high grade, almost like an investable type grade. These are, it's very difficult to get that when you get above the 9. Those gold labels are tough to get in Beckett. Same thing with PSA, getting into the PSA 910s. Those are not easy to get, man. Same thing over here. The old Mr. Evil over here. Kind of an evil little iconic piece of art on there, but overall, there's a lot of upticks in bizarre manipulated cards like that nowadays. And I look at it as more just having exposure to a particular card. And that's how I've always approached this stuff. I try to explain to people, I don't like to normally, now of course every once in a while there's an exception, but overall I don't like to target a particular card. I kind of just look for packages and deals and opportunities and things that seem to be low priced on the open market, and I just kind of absorb and try to accumulate positions across the board so I'm highly diversified no matter which way in which card tends to move. Same thing with a Firestorm Phoenix. Nobody's investing in Firestorm Phoenixes, okay? This is not some sort of high-end, Rudy, we got to get all the Phoenixes, bro. This is like the Red Power Ranger. We need to get them all. Get Captain Planet. Let's do this. Okay? Doesn't really work that way. Seriously. But at the end of the day, for set collectors, it's a high grade, and it does retain a very unique piece. It's a unique niche market. And in that chunk of the little niche market, you're always going to have people looking for set completion, especially in 9.5 Beckett's or PSA 10s. And on top of that, you don't know what the future holds. And that is always a variable that has value. These last three over here, we'll actually talk about, I guess we'll go right into Thunder Spear. Now, this is actually, I learned in 2017. I never understood why this card 2017 spiked to $100. And I was very kind of ill-informed on this particular card. I was unaware Thunder Spear was actually kind of an old school played card. And actually seen some play, because I never really understood the value and why this is such a special card for a 3-drop 2/2 flying first strike. And then I realized in the old school world, there's not exactly a bunch of flying first strike creatures that are literally kind of 3-drop type things. The only other similar things you have are like Sarah Angels at a higher casting cost, bigger creatures, but there's really not a lot to choose from. So it was just kind of an interesting, weird card. And that's a great example of a regular boring card that if it was printed in standard, nobody would care. But it has unique artwork, and of course, it's in a weird spot. And things like that create very bizarre opportunities long term, and that reinforces what I'm talking about. Now, Rudy has mold on his face and has to take a prescription. It happens. So you get the mold demon. Now, a card like this is a flipping 7-drop 6/6, and of course, you get to sack 2 of your own. I mean, it's not a good card. But again, it's a set collecting, really bizarre, unique card. Long term, you don't know what the future holds. You don't know what's going to happen with some new dredge thing where maybe you need something to destroy your own swamps, to cycle your graveyard, or do something. You don't know. And you have to factor in the value of the unknown. So that's a very important thing. Now, we're going to get into my favorite. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, folks, Gwendolyn. So Gwendolyn is obviously well known at this point in time. It's a very, very provocative, powerful woman, submissive type. It's one of my favorite pieces of art. The flavor and the theme, the flavor text. I mean, Julie, who is the woman who painted this art, did a phenomenal job. The card itself and the theme and flavor of the card is very, very special. It's something that you will never see in the modern era of Magic world because of the different cultural, political environment and just where the world is headed. So cards like this are extra. This is a multi-level special card. Gwendolyn is a card that I've been a huge fan of, and I talked about since 2017. About 4 years ago, I was mentioning about building positions in this type of card, and actually this exact card. And I remember when I started building my original 10, 20, 30 copies of it in 2017, they were about $50 to $75 a card. And I remember saying, the artwork on this, and the power level, and it's actually played, and it hit so many targets, and this was before they started banning very sensitive or cultural or racist or different things with the Crusades and different cards in 2020. God, time flies. And a card like this is so beyond, even though it's already reserve list, there were so many check marks on this card that makes it a good long-term play. I can't comprehend and explain. I've talked to you and everybody else about it for 4 or 5 years since 2017 when I first brought it up. And here we are in 2021. I'm not sure what the open market price is on this particular card. Probably around the 200 to 300 now. I do still believe, and I know, make fun of me all you want, I think it's a $1,000 card, and I've been saying that with many things. And I do think eventually it will get there due to the bizarre nature of the future that we're heading into. So cards like this, like when I see this whole batch of cards, this actually makes me the most excited. I mean, look, the 9.5s are cool and all, and they got the premium gold label. But again, we're talking very kind of mid-tier reserve list cards. These aren't iconic pieces. These are set collecting pieces here. The regular lower grade, the 9s and 8.5s, I just look at them as raw cards. They just take up a little bit more space. But when I saw like Gwendolyn and these two particular right here, because they're beta rares, I just love that art. That's what attracts me more to it. It's not always about the financial aspect of it, but it's a nice feeling in the back of my mind knowing that there is a good, positive ray of sunshine, long-term financial direction. That really gives me a nice piece of comfort. But at the end of the day, even if the prices stayed exactly the same on all these cards in this video for the next 5-10 years, it really makes no difference to me because it doesn't change my outlook or perspective on making this transaction or excited to add these to the Rudy Vault underground in the 5th basement with only goldfish and tacos. It's a nice addition. So this is Gwendolyn again. I know I'm drilling on it and everything, and I'm sure it's already bought out or whatever it's going on in 2021. But again, one of Rudy's all-time favorite cards. So I'm going to jump up here to Mr. Pyramid. Obviously, there was the infamous story of about a year, was it a year? 2 years ago now? Of the guy who's buying all the pyramid cards and the Great Pyramid Scheme and all that stuff. And I believe he still has them and all that. And he was buying them. I think they were like, what, $50 a piece? And he moved it to like $150 a card. And I think they retraced and they settled it still like $100 a piece, I think. Maybe something like that. Pyramids, again, it's a reserve list Arabian Nights rare card with actually a decent little ability. Kind of a high casting cost of 6, but again, it is colorless. It's a very special card, and it is part of Arabian Nights, and it will continue to hold its value and probably drip forward. Now, again, at any time, there could be some weird new combo or something bizarre can happen, and the market price can have to readjust very quickly. Again, that's why I've been trying to preach to you all. It's not trying to, we need to target all these. We need to get all the Rudy ghouls. No, we need the Rudy hot ex-girlfriend. No, we need the mold. We need Rudy's mold. It's not about that. It's about being very diversified. It's no different than equities, no different than real estate. You want to accumulate these positions. So no matter what the future holds, you have exposure to the upside. And of course, you're diversified so that when the downside comes, you have other categories that can weather the storm. That's the purpose of long-term stability in investment management. It's about risk. It's about downside risk. It's not about, Rudy, I'm waiting for Gwendolyn to go to 10,000. Okay, and if that happens, that's great. But if it doesn't, that's great too. As long as it's cheap, I can keep buying it. If this thing's $1,000 to $5,000, guess what? I'm not going to buy it anymore. So, it's going to force Rudy to back away. So anyways, last thing up here, the Dark Pact. I want to comment on this. And then, of course, these are just commons. Well, actually, I think Scavenging is an uncommon. The Dark Pact, again, is a beta rare. I love beta rares. They really haven't gone extreme parabolic in price, similar to a lot of mini alpha rares. And, of course, revised rares. Oh, my goodness. I swear revised is like the flavor of 2021. Like, every revised card's up like 100 to 300%. It's in every rare revised. Insane. But no, Dark Pack, I just, take a minute, appreciate the artwork. That's my number one reason. I just love that thing. Flipping Quentin Hoover. Rest in peace. Amazing man, amazing artist. Love it. Again, these, 6.5, I'll probably break the case. Not even worth anything bonus. The Scavenging Gold is still pretty cool. I believe it's an uncommon, though. So, just the fact it's an alpha and it's an uncommon, to me, it's special. So, last but not least, to end the video off here, I got to look into this third-party grading of these goofy things. KSA, it's got a little leaf. Is this like a different country's grading company or something? I'm not really sure. I'll look into that. I don't really know. The case feels very... I swear this thing, the two pieces feel like they can come apart. I swear it feels like you can move that, but... I don't know. I might try to take it apart, do a whole other video of kind of cracking a case of this versus cracking a Beckett case and kind of look into that. But overall, even if this was graded a 10 by this company or an 11 or a 1... it really wouldn't make any difference because I just want to inspect the card. The card is near mint, and that's all I really care about. So it's just a force of will. But again, before we end this video, this is the original. It's only an uncommon, but it's from Alliances, folks. Alliances. Like, what is that, 98, 99? I've been saying for so long, a lot of these cards, even if they're not reserve lists, even if they're in a set like Alliances, they are so underappreciated. And I've been telling everybody lately that, all these reserve list spikes and we're all evil investors and it's not player driven because, everyone's at stay at home quarantine tangerine. Whoa. I don't think that's the story here. I think the story is a combination of inflation. A lot of people who do need the money are using government stimulus money for important things in their life, but a lot of people who don't need the money are dumping it in collectibles, equities, real estate, and they're dumping the money and parking it. On top of that, I believe we are experiencing a massive repricing of Magic the Gathering. I don't really believe that everything is just a price spike. I feel the market is repricing a lot of cards because the market is kind of having a knee-jerk reaction that the market got it wrong. And a lot of cards were not priced correctly. And a good example was Gwendolyn. You can't have, this card was mispriced, I believe, for the longest time. That's why I was buying so many. And I think that's the bigger story moving forward. So hope you guys learned something today. Be safe. Have a great day out there. Make sure you're enjoying your hobbies. Life's a beautiful thing, folks.